Good morning, guys. This is Richard back at you. We have a landscape company's truck in our shop that we do a lot of business with, and got 145,316 miles on it. It come in with a shift solenoid code, but also come in with no third gear. We dropped the pan. I mean, the pan was bad. The fluid was smoked. So we definitely knew it had to come out and be rebuilt. But if you look here, it does have an initial on it, BM. A lot of builders initial their trannies. And if this tranny physically was built here in Amarillo, then I physically know this guy. And the number 6,114 units, I guarantee he's built every one of them. He's been around that long too. So I'm not going to say his name, but really good guy. Now, if you notice here, like I said, it's been rebuilt before. Looks like it's got a Daco, is what I want, Daco converter in it. It kind of gives it away, their yellow writing and their paint job and stuff like that. But I'm not sure how many miles this unit's got on it. So, well, let's get it apart and see what this thing's made about.
Well,
Let's just get it apart and see what it's made all about. Of course, we have our overdrive. I got a Dodge in my mind today for some reason. I don't know why I've been working at one. But anyway, we got the transfer case adapter here. The Dodge diesels, this would be an overdrive section. But anyway, O-ring. I'm just telling you, I get to thinking about so many things going on in this shop. And then trying to do these videos, it's pretty tough. And my brain is just scattered.
hey, we all know you're fixing to have a birthday in the next couple of months.
You? I didn't know that. You knew that?
I think you're losing brain cells.
They say the older you get, you start losing them.
Brain cells.
I charge mine up every night with my cell phone cord. I think we're all on our cell phones a lot on the internet and stuff. I learned quite a bit of stuff on the internet on different things if I'm searching it out really good. If I build anything crazy, I do a lot of research on it. That way I know I'm building it 100% right. Do I take everybody's word? No, but if I watch 4 or 5 of them, then I know something. So. We do have a Corvette servo in here. Factory overdrive servo cover here. Corvette servo here. And like I was telling you, just because you got a Corvette servo in here doesn't mean it ain't wore out in the pin area. I say we'll replace this anyway, even though it's got one in there. Oops. Peyton's got all my little screwdrivers, my orange one and my green one. But anyway, you want to check in here for any wear. If you notice this right here, looks pretty new on this side right here. If you go around to this side, let the oil get off of it. Look at the wear on one side of that area right there all the way down. You see it. So if you put this in there, this pin's going to probably wobble like that, and it does. So if your bores wore out here, then you're losing fluid pressure through the pin hole through there instead of going through here. It's leaking here, and that can cause soft shifts, bands that burn up, all kinds of stuff. So that's why, even though it has a Corvette servo in it, we always replace them. Looks pretty wet around the vent hose here. Probably had some fluid coming out of the vent a little bit, maybe. A little damp. There's no fluid in the connector. I don't see anything. You see anything in there, Teresa?
Nope.
Nope. Now, I've never talked about this. Now, the overhaul kit will come with O-rings that go in here, and it also comes with the new clips that go on there. But anytime you clip in a cooler line, the cooler line has a little cover on it that you slide over this. That way the cooler line can't pop out, the clips can't come out. So if you put your cooler lines in there and you don't put that little cover over there, you can guarantee at some time your cooler line is going to pop out. You have to put the cover over there. If you don't have a cover, get a tie strap and put around here, something to hold that clip in. It's a must. Of course, we have our lockup O-ring. The one that goes on here now, your kit's kind of orange look instead of black. your overhaul kit. Kind of flat too on the top. Got a seal retainer. Was it glued on? Nope, wasn't glued on. But we always do that. We glue our front seals in. You also want to look on your stator here for any type of crazy wear.
You know what? If you don't quit popping fluid on me,
I didn't do that.
Yes, you did.
But you can see here you might have a tiny bit, a little bit of wear right through there. That's still fine. But when you start seeing half the tooth gone, you need to replace that. Definitely. And Teresa, did you get splattered again?
Yeah, because you're sloppy.
I'm sloppy.
Sloppy man hand.
Oh. Try to get a little bit of this out of here. Annie, there's nobody out there. It's over here a little bit better. Cody's out there putting our SSR in.
Ooh, yeah, that doesn't look good.
Trent's at the doctor getting his earache fixed. And he'll be back here shortly. Like I say, once we get done tearing this unit down, it will be put in the washer and built right back. We keep everything in stock so we don't have to wait on anything. But that magnet does not look good, does it, Teresa?
No?
I'd say the filter looks pretty bad too.
Doesn't look good either.
Oh, look at that.
Whew. Yep.
I think I know why the solenoid stuck. I think that is bad.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. You can see here, right when I pulled that bolt out of that hole, fluid come out of that hole, and this one here, and this one here. The cooler lines are over here, so you could expect some through here too, but even got a little bit out of here. Oh, it's pouring out, look at it, out of that bolt hole. So that's why I always tell you, just because you change your O-ring here, always put some extra sealant on it. That way you double your sealant right on those bolts. Because I mean, it's been a long time since I had one come back leaking out of the bolt, but that's one too many.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get this at a better angle for you. Got our detent lever there. I mean, it's so full of metal. I wonder how long ago this tranny was built.
I don't know. It had a date on it, babe.
Oh, well, 2013.
2013,
yeah.
So it's been 10 years
10 years, yeah.
in August of next year.
Okay. Your PWM solenoid here. Your 3-2 downshift solenoid here. There will be a valve and spring in here. That'll fall out here shortly. Now these will not interchange. If you notice you have a narrow groove and a wide groove, the connector's made the same way. Wide, narrow, and it has to plug in that way. If you try to put it over here, it don't match up. It's on the wrong ends. See? So you can't really mix them up. Of course, this is a late model. Got the plug for the pressure control solenoid on the side. All this stuff ought to look really nice while I'm full of metal. Get all of our 10mm bolts out of the way here. Teresa, I missed 2 of them.
I didn't make you do nothing.
You didn't make I like to get in here and just kind of see what people do. See if they tried to help the lockup out any. Yeah, they just put a updated lockup valve and spring. It's still a PWM out there.
Everything's probably going to be stuck.
Oh, it's really stuck in there. I can feel it not want to move.
Yeah.
Come on. You want me to blow some air in there, Teresa?
Yeah.
Let me blow just a little bit.
I need to come all the way over here for you.
Well, I'll point it towards me instead of... Well, that ain't happening. So anyway, it's going to take a challenge to get that valve out of there. Oh, there it moved a little bit. There we go. Should have a spring in there. Now that's your 3-2 downshift valve and spring right there. You don't want to get that mixed up with your pressure regulator spring or anything. But normally, there's another spring in there. But that valve there, it's solid. It ain't moving. It won't move. But anyway, we'll take that apart, get that all cleaned. I mean, this whole valve body's going to have to be disassembled. Anytime you get one with a ton of metal, this valve right here is your 1-2 accumulator valve. This one and your accumulator here on the case. This valve will be stuck. You have to pull that pin right here, pull that aluminum sleeve out, pull the spring out, make sure that is working really smooth. This will cause your double bumps when you rebuild them and stuff like that. This valve sticks a little bit and you get this boom type of shift until this valve gets freed up. So you definitely want to pay attention to that one valve right there. All that stuff's stuck. There we go. Of course, we got a plastic piston. You know what we're going to do with that? We're going to trash it. I'm going to try to get that pin out of there, but definitely want to look for any wear on the sides, any scuffing or anything. Scotch-brite this up in here if it looks really nice. Of course, change all your solenoids on this one here, definitely, because that is one messed up looking thing. So there was no fluid in the connector. You could cut this solenoid off here, wire in a new retrofit solenoid. Use a harness if you wanted to. Like I said, I just say that if you're doing it at home, stuff like that. Here we replace them all. It doesn't matter. But I'm trying to help out everybody at home. Save a little money anyway. But the wiring harnesses ain't that expensive, are they, Teresa? They're not bad at all.
When they're like this, and
yeah, you just don't mess around. See if he did anything to this. Because a lot of times guys, they can build trannies all day long, but they don't know how to make them better. They know what does what, but they don't know how to improve it because they don't play with stuff. And we play with stuff all the time. That's what makes it fun. You know, if I don't like the way second gear feels, I'm going to change it. I can go in here and change it. Like this here has a late design accumulator, single spring, single piston. Now it does have the better shank on it, aluminum piston. So, but what I will do, we'll leave this spring in there, but we'll put a spacer that brings the bottom up to this level here. It's a washer that sets in here, and then we'll put a bigger spring that sets here that brings this piston all the way to the top. That's the only way I like to use these here. So the middle design really are the best ones, or the early design, 700 stuff like that. Got a valve body style gasket here. It says VB, round hole, square hole. Same here. Oh,
drop one on the floor.
I bet I got a few of those laying around.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Round hole, square hole, case. Like I say, you always want to look at that stuff and just see how somebody else built it. So, plate looks really good still. There's been some modifications done to the 4th gear feed hole here, the 2nd gear here, and you notice here I can feel a little bit. This hole's been modified too for your 3rd gear. Now that SSR that come in here, those holes were enlarged from the factory. So we talked about that. Remember that, Teresa, in our other videos. So, but those are the holes that you do enlarge if you want a little bit firmer shift. So he did a good job there. Now he did block the accumulator a little bit different than we do. He's got it turned over that way, and he's got a couple nuts stuck down in there, like that. I guess that'd be the same thing. As long as this piston doesn't move, I like to stack pistons. That way it takes up the whole area. Don't leave an open chamber there. Because you know, when this tranny's setting up down, this area right here probably empties. So, and then it's going to have to fill that back up. So, but the piston's probably still good. We just use a new one with it. Pin comes out. You want to check this too for any wear. So these pins do wear. Your manual linkage.
Throw it in there so you don't get lost.
And I'm telling you. Throw a few
Where'd it
balls in
go?
there. Grab your park lever, turn it, bang, pops down, move that out of the way.
Voila.
Voila. Now we talk about metal. Watch this. Look at that. Could you imagine what it takes to clean this case up? Everything like that? No. We do clean our cases a special way to make sure that we get all the metal out of the pores and stuff. We do have a check ball here on the bottom. We always leave it out or put it in. Doesn't matter. I like to put it in just because of the fact. Have a check ball here. If this one's missing, it doesn't matter. Race car application, you can take it out. Like I say, they work this truck, pull a trailer and stuff behind it.
Landscaping.
Yeah. Now I did notice a comment on a page before I got on this video here about a transmission that a guy was doing, and I want to kind of show the difference of some things. Okay. You definitely want to look in here. This thing's got a ton of metal. This is all right here. It's all bad. All bad. Since we have ruts here and here, then our suction side where our filter comes in, you can see the screwdriver. That's our suction for the filter. This is pressure. So if you get it leaking here and here, it just goes over. It just transfers back and forth like this instead of physically sucking to the filter and forcing it on the pressure side. So that's where you get your pressure gauge all jacked up. You put a pressure gauge on, it's flopping all over the place. Boost valve. What would I do with my other stuff everywhere? Now this, if you notice, it is a later design. The earlier designs will not have this gap here. This gap is for the wiring harness to come through here when they put the electro wheel in here. Now this is probably a year or so before they did it, so they had to start getting prepared to doing it. Usually takes a couple years once they decide something, and then here it starts happening, and then you kind of guinea pig it around for a while, and they figure out, well, it might work, so we'll go ahead and keep doing it. Okay. Now, being that what type of truck this is, what they use it for, stuff like that, trailer, I mean, we would definitely put a bigger boost valve in here. Now, it does have a large boost valve. It's got a 4-ringer. You could take a shift kit boost spring and stuff and use it behind this boost valve and gain a little bit more. But on this unit here, I think we're going to go ahead and put the 500 boost valve in there. And we're probably going to use a Sonex because it's got O-rings around it, stuff like that. That way it doesn't leak. So there is different versions. But definitely want to put a little bit bigger one for what they do. That's probably why the tranny burned up. But, you know, 10 years is a long time. But let's make it 25 years with our build. How does that sound, Teresa? Sounds a lot better to me. Now you can see here when he put the spring in how it's really not straight. You can see here where it's been rubbing. You can see the shininess. And this spring really don't move around a lot. It's just that he didn't get it lined up in the bore right, pretty much. I mean, you can kind of move them and get them down in there better. But you can see all the shininess here. This spring almost looks like it's messed up or something. I really don't know if he did anything crazy. Some guys will put washers behind them, and I mean, they do all kinds of stuff when I get them in here. Let's see if our slide's any good. See if it's all wore out too. Oh yeah, it's totally gone. There ain't nothing left. A little bluing on this side. Bluing gone. Ruts right here where the paddle's been just chewing it up. See if we can get this pin out of here. Barely. Got your little faithful spring. And your pivot pin for your slide. I mean, don't look wore out or nothing. Definitely want to look and probably replace this spring. Maybe it's bent. When it tightens down, it kind of bends, it looks like. You can kind of see it bend to one side maybe. That could be an issue why that's rubbing. Let's see where that's rubbing at. Where do I see that at? I'm trying to see if I can physically see it. Turn this around so I can kind of get my holes matched up here where they go. So it should be rubbing right through here. It's too dirty. I can find it when I get it cleaned up, but anyway, complete pump. Get that out of there.
Spring underneath there. Where's that spring?
What spring? Oh, it's there somewhere, Teresa.
I know. I just have to do that. These people are going, oh my gosh, how did he get all these parts and put it back together?
Yeah.
You're just throwing it all together. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Look at our drum here. Change up, but these bushings are totally gone. That's crazy. Normally when you put your thumb in here, you can grab a big lip on this bushing right here. And this has almost no lip at all, none. I mean, it's totally wore out. Same way with this bushing here. Anytime you see wear on this bushing, you want to come in and look here on the stator, right here where it runs. And it actually don't look just totally bad as the bushing looks. So, but you know what, guys? A lot of these bushings don't get replaced back in the day. I mean, they were tough to get and stuff, so hard to tell on that one. Same way with that one. You can see here where the sealing rings are running the dark pattern right here. So they're really moving around a lot. Makes you wonder if the clearance is really messed up in this thing. This drum's walking back and forth on the stator. Now, if you notice here, you added an early style clutch. These clutches are thicker than early style clutches are thicker than the early or late model, excuse me, I'm confused. And when you start putting these in there, you start tightening this drum up. This isn't a drum that you want to tighten up. This drum here, the clutch isn't working going down the road, and the drum's spinning 1,000,000 miles an hour, and the drum's going one way, the clutch is going the other way. So there's got to be a lot of gap in here. They got to flood it with a lot of oil just to keep the clutch from burning up. So you physically don't want to tighten the reverse clutch up. Leave it loose. Pretty simple. Sealing rings still look decent. Ooh, we got a culprit. Oh gosh, look at this clutch down in here, Teresa. The teeth are almost totally gone on the 3/4 clutch.
Oh, wow.
Totally gone. So this is probably where a lot of our black's coming from, I'm sure. Oh yeah. Well, you remember back in 13, I'm not even sure if they had a Z-pack back then. To tell you the truth.
Man, I've slept since
One,
then.
two. Oops, let me get this where it needs to go. I would do it like that, kind of. Okay, we got 1 clutch, 2 clutch, 3 clutches, 4 clutches, 5 clutches, 6 clutches in here for 3rd gear. Just a factory setup, so we're definitely going to improve that by a ton. And we'll put a Z-pack in there, or we'll use an Alto clutch kit there. Z-packs are getting pretty tough to find. But we've found another kit that I believe is just as good, if not better. So you always want to check that bearing there.
You know,
of course, your load springs
are totally gone.
Are they gone, Teresa?
They're gone.
I think they're about as flat as you can get them.
I'd say so.
So look at our forward clutch in here. Deeper. Of course, we look here. Engine brake clutch looks decent. Forward clutch looks decent. But I forgot to show you this. Look at the clutches. They're almost totally stripped on this 3/4 clutch.
They look like metal.
Yeah, I meant to show you that.
Yeah, the little fingers.
Oh, there's not even a clutch on there.
Not even anything on there.
I mean, here's kind of a wide one. A little bit more left as compared to some of them.
Wow.
So, pretty wiped out. Okay, we talked about that. We know our forward.
Did you ever answer our viewer's question?
Yep, I'm fixing to.
Okay.
I'm fixing to get there. Of course, we know if it has a brass sprag assembly in it, this washer is already locked to the hub. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's already made its groove. It's going to spin in one spot. You pull it out, it's just wore plumb out. Big old lip.
Wow.
This is wore out here. I don't know why the brass just didn't work very well against this hub. I don't know if the hub's too soft, the brass is too soft, or what it is. But if you pull this one out, it looks brand new. A little bit of wear, but normally this thing here looks brand new. This will be totally wiped out. Big old lip.
Hey, big lips are in now.
Yep, that's what I hear. I've seen a few. But anyway, this race still looks good. When you Scotch-Brite that up, change the bushings, look at the sun gear for any type of wear. Make sure it hadn't run over any metal, put any dents in it. Anything like that. Scotch-Brite your outer race up if it looks good, if there's no chatter marks on it or anything like that. So we're doing really good there. Let me just stop and show you something really quick about different designs on these drums here. I noticed on a page this morning that a guy was working on a tiny Hummer, one of the small Hummers, and it has this style shaft in it right here. Now this is the early design. They make even one smaller than this one. It looks just like this for the really early 700s, a really small shaft. Then they went to this one. Then they went to this one here, big shaft all the way. But on this one here's a really odd shaft. You know, I think I've only done one since we've been doing these units. So you don't see them. But it was in a small Hummer, and these splines right here were totally stripped, right here on the end. I posted on there, too bad they don't make a converter to retrofit to where you could put a big shaft in it, or even this shaft here would be even better than this shaft here, because it just strips these splines out real easy, it looks like. He said he's done 3 of them, I believe he said, and they call 3 come in stripped out, so you'd think they would have a fix for that. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. You can see the difference in them right there. Of course, narrow band. We're going to fix that, put a nice wide band in there. The bank anchor is still stuck in there, so we'll get that out here shortly.
The what?
Band anchor.
Oh.
Did I say it funny?
Well, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, no, I have to get a little chisel in there or something, try to knock it out. Punch or something. There's so much metal in this tranny. That SSR tranny took me almost 7.5 hours to build yesterday. The 904 that I did, excuse me, let's back up. The 904, yeah, the last one I did took me about 7-8 hours to build. The 904, it went almost into 8 hours, probably 9 to 10 hours on that one there. The little 904 we just did here for the race car. So it's amazing how much time you get in them, especially when you do them right and you take your time. Because I take my time to set all the clearances and we do everything. So. Of course, that hub's almost totally stripped. Ain't much left of it. Oh, look how thin that is.
Mm-hmm.
But I did talk about this year, depending on what year this is, the size of this hole right here where this bearing sets. You notice the bearing is centered by the planet, not in here. So they make it, I call it an A hub, a B hub. That's the only difference in the 2 part numbers. So an A is a later model. A B is a little bit earlier design. 4-pinion. You want to check your ring gear really good all the way around. These are just marks. There's really nothing there.
Check those pinions.
Ma'am?
Check your little gear.
Oh yeah, all your little, yeah, definitely. And here, this, I mean, it could be a hard shell. Kind of looks like it because it's not messed up really in the splines. But you can start to see here how that bearing digs in here. They'll actually still break right through here.
Yep.
Really close right here. You can see.
Yeah, you can see it.
See it right there where they'll
Like
break. So, of course, this culprit here, we replaced 90% of them. Actually, got a bunch more over there. 5 of them in a box is sitting over there. Just come in this morning, so. We keep a ton of parts here. And we're really keeping even more since we started having issues getting parts. Of course, we have our low reverse clutch here. Got the wave in it still. Of course, we'll leave that in there. It's not a race car or anything like that. Now, it does have the, I noticed it has the updated hub back here. Normally, you see that hub with a 5-pinion planet. I do have some 5-pinion planets over there that we could stick in here. We could call him and ask him, see if he wanted to upgrade the gear train on it. You want to check these rollers. Right here, make sure they're good. No wobbling. Check that bearing there. So you can stick this down in here like this after you clean it up and push. And if that bearing down in there is bad, you'll be able to tell it. Your lower sprag assembly. Race looks really nice. We can Scotch-Brite that up. So I always like to stick it on the planet, get some Scotch-Brite, that way I can hold it, Scotch-Brite it up really nice. But anyway, just another day at the office, Teresa. If somebody wants to come down here and build this for me, I'd appreciate it. It'd be nice. Because I mean, after you do a few of these, you do 4, 5, 6 a week, it gets boring as heck, really. Did I say boring?
Boring.
Nah, it never gets boring. It's always exciting every day around here, huh, Teresa?
Oh, yeah.
Every day. Well, guys, you know we always appreciate number 1 right there, right?
Right.
Mouth's a little dry. But anyway, guys, don't forget to go subscribe, push that notification bell, because I guarantee there's something else to come. Have a great day.